Hey guys, Farragon here again, and I wanted to do this video before I started putting out guides for the next raid tier. I think this is an important time for you guys to know, you know, uh, how to sim your character. And by simming your character, I mean finding out what's the maximum potential of damage that your character can do. Um, and the way we do that is going to a website called Raidbots, and we download an add-on called Simulationcraft. If we're looking for Simulationcraft, if you're using the Twitch add-on or the Twitch uh, desktop thing, you can type in Simulationcraft. It'll pop right up. If you want to use curse.com, then you can find it here, Simulationcraft. And we're also going to be using Raidbots as our how to sim our character. Now, why is simming important? Simming is important because it lets you learn a bunch of things about your character, like what is the maximum potential of your character, what are your stat weights at the time. If you have a new piece of gear that you might want to trade because you're not sure, you can go to this website and find out, well, this is an upgrade for me, so I'm going to hold on to this, or this isn't an upgrade for me, so I can pass it off to somebody. All these kinds of things that I find super necessary to know, especially in mythic raiding, or if you're trying to get into mythic raiding, this is what's going to put you ahead of the pack if you're trying to join a higher guild. So let's see, what does the add-on actually do? So what happens is I go into the game and I'll type /simc, and it'll pop up with this, or I can hit the minimap icon and it'll pop up with it again. And I will Control C, so I'll copy this, and then we'll go to Raidbots. And let's do stat weights really quick. So you'll come to this screen, and basically what you want to do is just take what you copied from there, Control V, paste it into here, and you'll see a bunch of these options. And this can be a little overwhelming, so let's go over it a little quick. For iterations, we're just going to do Smart Sim. Now for fight style, there's a couple of things that you want to, so depending on how accurate you want your damage to be, so you have to if you want to be accurate, patchwork is not what I would recommend. However, what you see right here is the gold standard for simming, because this lets you literally know the maximum potential of damage that your character can do. So what does patchwork mean? It tells you right down here. It means no movement, and it's single target. So your character is going to be standing still the entire time. There will be no mechanics that is going to take into consideration, and basically it's the best kind of it's like the perfect scenario for a ranged character. Melee characters too, and assuming that you don't have to leave for mechanics and stuff like that. Then there's light movement, infrequent movement. It basically every 85 seconds, it'll force your character to stop casting and then go move 50 yards. And then there's heavy movement, frequent movement, move 25 yards every 10 seconds. So there's a bunch of these options that I really like. If you're trying to figure out what your damage is, for an actual fight. However, majority of the time, all I'm interested is in my patchwork, especially for stat weights. So that's what I tend to just leave it on, is patchwork. There's the number of bosses. It's pretty easy to figure out. So 5, 6 bosses, but tend to be, if you're trying to do like I said, this is the gold standard. So you want to do patchwork for 1 boss and then 5 minutes, especially for single target. So and that's all you have to do as far as getting the code is you get this little bit, copy paste it, set it to patchwork, 1 boss 5 minutes. It should automatically be set for this. And then you just click this nice thing, generate stat weights. So there's a queue. I'm a Patreon to this, to Raidbots, so it puts me at the beginning of the queue every time. Highly recommend it. And it's just going to crunch the numbers. It's going to tell us what we should expect our damage to look like if we have a perfect scenario. So with this gear, this is the best gear that I've been wearing because I've actually been simming myself frequently, especially at the beginning of the raid tier, getting a bunch of new gear. I should expect at the tippy top end of my gameplay that I should be hitting just under 18k DPS as a frost mage. So yeah, that's basically all I need to know. But the important stuff right here is that it tells me that my haste is worth 2.12% or 2.12, and 1 point of haste will increase your damage by 2.12 per second. So damage per second, it'll increase by literally 2.12. If I have 1 haste, my crit is worth 2.10, my versatility is worth 1.98, my mastery is worth 1.93, and my intellect isn't as important as my secondary stats right now. So looking at this, what this tells me is that all of my secondary stats as Frost are really closely aligned. And that means 9 times out of 10, I'll probably be able to choose the highest item level piece that I'm given, and it'll probably be an upgrade for me because the variation between my secondary stats is so slim. Now, for something like Arcane, and we can try this in a second, it might be a little bit more different. Actually, I'd say Fire would be a better example that we can see has a bigger secondary stat variation. So right here we can just see like, say you have a bigger variation where crit and haste are way higher and versatility and mastery are super low, then it's like, well, if I get a ring and it's crit haste, I can almost guarantee that that's going to be an upgrade. And you can use this information to look through the dungeon journal and or the raid journal and look through the gear, and it's like, so what rings give crit haste? Band of multi-sided strikes gives me crit and versatility. That's super good. What else? This one gives haste mastery, so that might not be so important for me. This one gives haste versatility. I do like that a lot. I would probably go for this ring, so you know what kind of gear you're going to be looking out for. And I highly recommend that. Now, if you have one of my favorite ones to do recently is the top gear. So I will undo this because I did fire earlier, and I will Control V to post it back in. And here, I'm going to make it a little bigger here. Now you can choose whatever gear you want. You can change the second or the Azurite traits that they have, and you can choose a bunch of different pieces of gear. So let's go see. We want to try with Tunnel of Ice and Seductive Power instead on this one. Let's try Incite the Pact over Frigid Grasp. Let's see. Let's leave the rest. Let's go down to here. We'll try Band of Multi-Sided Strikes because it's higher item level than this one, but this gives haste, this gives versatility, and this has less crit than this Rot Scour ring, so that's something I'm interested in. A couple trinkets. Let's see if Tazane's Back Spines is good, even though it's 355. And Rock Crusted Voodoo Dolls, I know is a good trinket, so I want to try that up against my 385 Nautilus and 375 Ignition Mage Fuse. On top of that, let's look at my offhand. I recently just switched this one, so I know what the answer is going to be. But let's try both of these. And yeah, okay. So now we've got that. We can change our talents. So maybe I want to try Splitting Ice as well. But this is the best single target talents I know that I'm going to want to take. And then we're going to look back again. Patchwork 1 boss, 5 minutes. And let's find the top gear. This one takes us slightly longer because it has to do multiple iterations of it. So we'll kind of sit back. And we'll take this time to switch to fire, actually. And I can see if the secondary stat allocation is a little bit more drastic. So because I switched to fire, going to make sure I'm wearing the gear that I want, wildfire. I don't have... The reason why I'm playing Frost is because I got a lot of good Frost gear, not so much good fire gear, so I'm kind of playing mostly Frost so far. As you can see right here, Frost Mage. Shout out, this is AOTC. This is our kill, top damage. Get at you, boy. So we'll try this gear, and we'll do SimC again, and we'll copy it because it's new. And let's go back to the website, see how far it is. We'll just kind of wait it out. I highly recommend doing this every time you get a new piece of gear, because it can change your stat allocations. So maybe get a different ring that has more secondary stats than the other, and that maybe makes the waist that you're wearing right now worse than one that you already have in your bag. So this constantly will tell you, what you need to be looking for, and I spend a lot of my time on Raidbots trying to figure out what is the best I can make my character. So here it says, right here it says that I should probably be taking these Azurite traits. So it looks like Incite the Pack is actually better for me for them Frigid Grasp. So maybe I should definitely go think about changing that. So it tells you see above to see the best one. It is 0.3% better than what I was actually wearing. So this is what I have equipped. So if you toggle this, it'll tell you that it's 0.3% better. This is what I have equipped. So I could be optimizing it a little bit more. And you can see down here that these different iterations and all that kind of stuff is going to give me a DPS loss. So I'm going to look here and I'm going to see, well, even though I do have that 400 eye level ring, I would probably prefer to take this 385 one. Let's see. It's oh, it's okay, never mind. Yeah, so this one is equal. So I could decide to wear this one. The reason why I was doing this is because it's taking into consideration that I did this new Azurite trait. So 0.3% increase if I want to take this shoulders with this ring, or it's still 0.3%. Actually, it's 2 DPS less, very minimal. So I mean, I could wear it if I want, so that's kind of up to me. But all these other ones are a DPS loss, so I don't want to be doing these iterations. So it just basically tells you, if you're ever confused, if you ever don't know what gear you want to take, that this is the gear that you should be taking, and this is what's going to do the most DPS for you. And that's really important because you don't want to go. It's, you're kneecapping yourself if you're not taking the best gear that you could possibly be wearing that you have in your bags. You know what I mean? So I highly recommend going through your top gear and seeing what you can do. Um, Now, one that I like to look at frequently is, let's go back to top gear. I'll actually just go to stat weights, so to make this nice and easy. Oh, I've got the fire ones in here really quick. So before we do that, let's do this. This is my fire set, and let's see the stat weights for this. So should be pretty quick since it's just stat weights. And while we wait, I'm going to switch back to frost because I don't want to. Let's do that. And we'll get the new SimC here. Copy that. And we'll just wait a second, see what my secondary stats look like. So this time it's pretty interesting that intellect is my highest, is the one I want to go for the most. So intellect is really important to me. Versatility is really high, mastery is really high, and haste is kind of low. So yeah, you look at this and it's to make informed decisions, and that's really important. So let's go back to stat weights, and this time do it with frost. But one I like to do, especially for Mythic Plus and stuff, you guys know I'm a fan of Mythic Plus, is to see if what my stat allocation would be for, or my top gear would be for an AoE fight. So we'll keep it on patchwork, but I like to put it at 6 bosses, and then for 40 seconds. And that's because if you think about a trash pack in a Mythic Plus dungeon, it's not going to last much longer than 40 seconds. So this will tell us, obviously you can't set it for like 35 or something, but 20 seconds is too low, 1 minute is too high, so 40 seconds is the best we can do. So let's generate stat weights really quick. And this will let us know for AoE on 6 targets, which roughly is about how many adds you're going to be fighting at a time, what our stat weights are going to be looking like for Frost Mage. And then we'll go to top gear. I haven't done this yet for Mythic Plus. Still have a lot of simming to do. So let's do this as a little experiment so I can learn what maybe I should be switching out a little bit of gear for AoE in Mythic Plus. So I'll tell you my DPS is kind of arbitrary for AoE, but it says that crit strike is super important to me on AoE. And that's because you want your Comet Storm to be critting. So I know for a fact that I would want to take Tazane's rock backspines, which gives me extra crit on a minute 30 cooldown. That'd be super useful on Trash, but I prefer taking single target trinkets, especially for boss fights on Tyrannical. Shows me that versatility is super high for me. Intellect is just a little bit below versatility. Says that haste and mastery are not very important for me in AoE. That makes a lot of sense because Glacial Spike is mastery increases your glacial spike damage, but on an AoE pack, you're going to be doing most of your damage with Frozen Orb with... actually, mastery does more than that. I don't want to misinform you guys. Mastery increases... Yep, no, I was right. So mastery doesn't increase our Comet Storm damage, it doesn't increase our Frozen Orb damage, so mastery is really not as important to us as crit and versatility would be, as along with intellect. So let's go see what top gear would look like. Let's take this out. So I'll show you actually that Tazane's backspines is going to be really good. So I'll put that over that. Probably it's going to replace my Mage's Fuse. Let's see, this ring I'm actually kind of interested in. And let's stay with Incite the Pack here since I know it's best for single target, which is nice because I can actually, let's keep that on. Let's just see. See, what else would I want to add here? Let's try Heed My Call. Alright, I think I like the way it looks thus far. Alright, and actually let's throw Splitting Ice in there too, just to kind of throw a wrench in the work. Or Freezing Rain as well. So we can change our talents like that. I'm going to guess that Comet Storm is going to be a little higher. But I like how... Oh, yep, okay. Got to make sure that I left it as. Still left it at 6. Targets at 40 seconds. So this is going to take a little bit longer. But I just want to emphasize the importance of having, wearing the right gear to raid and stuff like that, because you're not doing anybody any favors, no one in your raid, no one yourself, if you're trying to get into a higher guild, you're not doing yourself any favors by using the worst gear. If you're using the best kind of gear, even if it's that 0.3% that I saw earlier, then taking Incite the Pack over the other one that I was taking, that's a big deal, okay? Because it's min-maxing the small things that you do. Yep, like I said, looks like Dzane's Backspines is super useful for here. It's actually a 4% upgrade to what I'm actually currently equipped. What else? It says that for AoE, Frigid Grasp is actually better than single target. Let's see if we can find where that was. I'm also taking... Also, Heed My Call was not the one I'd want to take. Overwhelming Power is still the best one. So let's see if I can find where Incite the Pack was. So this is what I was currently wearing. So in taking Incite the Pack over... Yeah, so it's a 0.3% loss if I take... Nope. See, you have to really analyze this. This is important. You have to actually sit down and think about it. But Hadal's is still... It's a 0.4% increase to take Zane's Backspines, but Hadal's is better for single target, so I gotta take that into a consideration, that it's only a 0.4% upgrade, so I'd rather take the Hadal's for... Which still does good AoE, but is better single target than the Zane's Backspines. So yeah, this is, I mean, it tells you everything that you need to know. I can't praise it anymore. It also says that maybe I should be taking Freezing Rain on 6 targets on AoE. That's actually really interesting. I'm not sure if I agree with that. It's not very good. You also have to take into consideration, what does Freezing Rain give me over... Where does it show? So right here, I take this... Aha, if I have higher crit... So what I'm reading here is if I have higher crit with Dzane's Backspines, Freezing Rain goes ahead. But because I'm not taking Dzane's Backspines, I'm probably going to want to take Comet Storm anyway. So this tells me everything that I need to know about my character and what my character can do. And I find that really important. So simming your character, download Simulationcraft, go on Raidbots, learn what your secondary stat allocation is, learn what your top gear is, and you can really get a grasp on what your character can do. And this isn't just for mage, this is for every single class. So if you're talking to some guildies and they're like, you know what, this whole simming thing seems like super try hard, you just saw right here. All it is copying a piece of code and then pasting it into a website and hitting generate. It's super easy, and there's no reason why anyone who's trying to get serious into the game shouldn't do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and be looking out in the future for some maybe kill videos. Look in the future for more guides, definitely. Right now, the soonest one that's probably going to come out is Frost, because that's the best gear that I've been getting recently. And then the other ones will come. So hope to see you guys soon, and thanks for watching.